welcome to a brand new episode of the Jampack Report today for April the 10th of 2020. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams, and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest gaming news you need to know from around the industry. Hosted on YouTube and podcast services around the world 5 days a week, it's your one-stop shop for all of the hottest news you need to know. And today we have a bit of controversy surrounding Kotaku. Now, at the moment, this is still trending on Twitter. Of course, Kotaku is at the top of the Trends for You tab. Now, these are not global trends, but it still shows that a significant amount of the video games community is discussing what's being covered here. And that is this article, which is titled "The Difference Between Final Fantasy VII's Easy and Normal Modes is Too Drastic" by Mike Fahey over at Kotaku. Now, I'm not going to read through this entire article because, quite frankly, there are some spoilers and some of you are playing through the game right now. But let's go ahead and jump in towards the end of this section. As I was entering the game's home stretch and wanted to complete it quickly so that I could dish with Jason Schreier about the ending, I left easy mode on and it continued to be ridiculously simple. My potion stockpile grew instead of steadily depleting. I barely healed at all during the game's final moments. Boss attacks designed to deliver massive damage in normal mode barely tickled. I am the last person to shy away from playing a game on easy, but Final Fantasy VII Remake's easy mode is a joke, and it's not even the game's easiest setting. Classic mode is easy mode, only your character attacks and defends automatically. It might as well be a visual novel. That's some strong language. If you want to fully appreciate Final Fantasy VII Remake's nuanced and versatile battle system, play in normal mode, except for the dogs. Those damn murderous dogs, of course, discussing the dog seen in this GIF right here. Shocker, there are some dogs if you haven't played the game from the late 90s already. But I did want to cover this because, quite frankly, this is a ridiculous take. An easy mode is supposed to be accessible. It's supposed to be something that allows people to enjoy the story of a game. It allows somebody to not have to worry about being good at a game. There are plenty of games that I am horrible at, and I do choose easy from time to time. Or if I'm tired, maybe after a long day, choosing easy mode, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Now, one thing I do want to say, though, is that if you do choose easy mode, understand that you might not get the full experience that a developer might have had in mind. You see this whenever you are choosing what mode to play on at the beginning of a game. If you do choose normal mode, it's generally what the developers intended you to experience the game on. If you choose something that is based entirely around the story, you might miss out on some specific gameplay elements, but overwhelmingly, it's still going to be the same. It just depends on if you are able to play the game, and two, are having a good time. So this is something that I think a lot of people are taking issue with, obviously, because there's nothing wrong with playing on easy. Now, growing up, for me, there was a stigma around playing a game on easy mode, because for a lot of people, this meant that you were taking the easy way out. If you didn't play on normal, or even hardened, if you were playing a Call of Duty game, for instance, growing up, people thought that you were horrible at the game, and you got ridiculed endlessly. At least I did whenever I was in middle school and high school. But I do think that times have changed, and I think that in the gaming community, there's nothing wrong with being able to enjoy a game, regardless of your difficulty level or how you are enjoying it. But I wanted to get my 2 cents and let you guys know that this was trending if you did want to jump in and give your 2 cents in the comment section down below. But moving on to actual gaming news, Call of Duty Warzone now has more than 50 million players 1 month after launch. Activision's new Battle Royale passes another milestone. Call of Duty Warzone, the new Battle Royale mode from developer Infinity Ward, now has more than 50 million players, publisher Activision announced on Friday. The milestone, which Warzone reached just 1 month after its release, makes the game one of the fastest growing free-to-play titles in the games industry. Warzone previously hit 30 million players just under 2 weeks after launch. Unlike Activision's previous lackluster attempt at a Battle Royale title, Blackout, which was made only available within 2018's Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Warzone was released as a standalone download on consoles and PC. It does not require players to own any other software or pay any money to play it, which has greatly helped its popularity. Warzone now has a sizable player base, having hit the 50 million mark at roughly the same speed as the competing BR game, Apex Legends. Fortnite, of course, has more than 250 million players now, having released in late 2017, and now available on consoles, PC, and mobile. Still, Activision and Infinity Ward's successes here illustrate that the VR genre, while having lost a lot of its luster since it's effectively consumed the first-person shooter market 3 years ago, still has plenty of room for new ideas and interesting takes on the now trademark design of these types of games. So 50 million players, as tweeted out by the official Call of Duty Twitter account. That's a lot of people. And of course, there are more moves coming over the course of the next few weeks. There are more additions to the game that are going to continue revolutionizing how people experience Call of Duty Warzone. And I have gotten into the game. I have not poured hundreds of hours into it like some people have, but I do enjoy it. I think that out of all of the battle royales that I've played, it's certainly one of the better ones. It also blends the best parts of Apex Legends when it comes to the action and the speed with the, I suppose, map-based rotations and the skill base of PUBG. I like those two together. Not really anything like Fortnite. Big fan of that. Really not like Fortnite, except for the fact that you drop out of the sky, which that's in and of itself like PUBG. But regardless, if you did want to dive in and play Call of Duty Warzone, you can join the now 50 million people that are playing across PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It's a pretty good VR game. However, let's move on to our final topic of today's brief show. Cyberpunk 2077 won't release for PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X when the next-gen consoles launch. It will instead come later. CD Projekt Red has confirmed that though Cyberpunk 2077 will get an updated version for the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 at some point, players should not expect to see these next-gen versions of the game at the launch of both consoles. Those will come later. Quote, in terms of Microsoft's console, like I said, we have officially confirmed both the update and the cross-gen availability, meaning that you will be able to play the game from the get-go on the next gen. CD Projekt SVP of Business Development Michael Nowakowski said, according to Video Games Chronicle. However, when it comes to a proper full-blown next-gen version, that's going to come later. We have not announced when, and I don't have a new comment here on that. Nowakowski also reiterated that Sony has not said whether PlayStation 5 will support enhanced PS4 games, like Microsoft already has for the Xbox Series X and the Xbox One. So there is no official word for whether PlayStation 5 will be able to play an enhanced PS4 version of Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red has already confirmed that an update for Cyberpunk 2077 will allow Xbox One users to upgrade to an Xbox Series X enhanced version for free, but the same cannot be said for PlayStation 4 and 5 right now. There is no official announcement coming from PlayStation, so we really can't confirm or deny anything, Nowakowski said. It's PlayStation that first needs to address these issues, and then we are happy to make a comment, but we can't jump the gun ahead of them. Nowakowski also confirmed that Cyberpunk 2077 is still on track for release in September on Xbox One, PS4, and PC, but there are currently no plans to delay the release of the game. And of course, we talked about that lack of a delay earlier in the week, but I think this is a very interesting tidbit of news because I think it's a confirmation many people were waiting for and a clarification that needed to happen. Because if this was a game that was going to be a launch title for the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X, or even one or the other, that does have a significant amount of pull when it comes to people upgrading to the next gen or waiting to buy the current generation version of Cyberpunk 2077. And I think about the Xbox Series X providing that additional versatility in terms of allowing for an upgrade, because that's something that's very special. And if you were able to offer that right from the get-go, while PlayStation 5 could not, that could put the Xbox Series X a bit ahead of the competition right out of the gate. It could also be flipped. If the PlayStation 5 offered this and the Xbox Series X did not, they would have the upper hand. It's not a console wars thing, but when it comes down to it, if one thing is offering one solution and the other is not, it is what it is. But really interesting to see that Cyberpunk 2077 is adopting the free upgrade. I know that we covered that a couple of weeks back on an episode of the Jampack Report, but it's still awesome to see confirmed all these weeks later. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you guys enjoyed this one, drop me a like down below and let me know what you think about the show we had today. Do you like easy modes in games? Do you play them? On top of that, are you playing Warzone, and will you be getting Cyberpunk 2077 on a current generation console or a next generation console, or both? Would love to see you in the comments down below. But until next time, you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I will talk to you soon, and peace.